So the past months have been really challenging because of the pandemic. But in the DOTR, through the partnership with the Japan International Cooperation Agency, we are resolved to fulfill our infrastructure plans and programs to deliver our commitment of a more comfortable life to every Filipino. To kickstart the program, we are pleased to have the Undersecretary of Railways of the Department of Transportation to open and to brief us of today's event. Let us all welcome Yusek Timothy John Batan.
Thank you very much, Joanna. His Excellency Ambassador Koji Haneda of the Embassy of Japan, Chief Representative Eigo Azukizawa of the Japan International Cooperation Agency, JICA, Secretary Arthur P. Tugade of the Department of Transportation, General Manager Jun Magno of the Philippine National Railways, Mr. Munichiro Tsuchiya of the Shimizu Fujita Takenaka EEI Joint Venture, Mr. Takanobu Miki, President of the JIM Technology Corporation, fellow servants in government, our friends in the media, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. September 1973, the proposal to build the first subway in Metro Manila was conceived in a study conducted by JICA's predecessor, the Japan Overseas Technical Cooperation Agency, or the OTCA, in September 1973. A year later, in 1974, Seoul in South Korea opened its first subway line, and fast forward to the present, Seoul's subway now has one of the longest subway systems in the world. In 1984, Singapore launched its first tunnel boring machine, and Taiwan followed 7 years later. After nearly half a century and 6 administrations from the 1973 OTCA study, under the strong-willed leadership of President Rodrigo Roa Duterte and Secretary Arthur P. Tugade, it is now Manila's turn. It is now the Philippines' turn to finally build our first ever subway using for the first time not just one, but a fleet of 25 railway tunnel boring machines or TBMs. To catch up in the development of our country's mass transport system, the Metro Manila Subway project, along with our 12 other railway projects throughout the country, are being implemented at record scale and at record speed. Towards this goal, today we mark another milestone for the Metro Manila Subway project as we give our friends in the media and the public a virtual tour of the first 6 tunnel boring machines that are currently being manufactured by JIM Technology Corporation at their factory in Tsurumi, Japan. Measuring 6.99 meters in diameter and 95 meters in length, each of these 700-ton TBMs will be used for the partial operability section of the project from Barangay Ugong in Valenzuela City to North Avenue in Quezon City. Each of these gigantic machines can lay down up to 12 meters of tunnel segments per day and excavate daily up to 600 cubic meters of soil. The 34-kilometer Metro Manila Subway project, with its 17 stations from Valenzuela to NAIA Terminal 3 and FTI, is expected to excavate approximately 7.7 million cubic meters of soil, or the equivalent of 3,100 Olympic-sized swimming pools. A tunnel boring machine's sheer size and power will not only contribute to faster tunneling and project completion, but will also significantly reduce disruption above ground during construction. Our first completed TBM is scheduled to arrive in the Philippines by the end of January 2021, with the second TBM following shortly after in February 2021. Until then, we invite everyone's continuing support for the rapid expansion of our mass transport system during this golden age of infrastructure, with the Metro Manila Subway project at its helm as one of the pioneering flagship projects under the Build, Build, Build program of the Duterte administration. The sooner we have things done and done right, the sooner we can deliver on our President's promise of a more comfortable life for every Filipino. Magandang hapon po sa lahat. Thank you and domo arigatou gozaimasu.
Thank you very much, Yusek TJ, for that wonderful and insightful opening remarks. And now, may I request everyone to direct your attention to the tunnel boring machine presentation. That it's time for us to share with you some information about this sophisticated technology that will be used for the construction of our first ever underground railway system in the Philippines. So, without further ado, here's a presentation of the TBM. damn it, everyone! We just saw a sneak peek and learned valuable pieces of information of our first ever subway in the Philippines. And now, to continue with the program, we would like to call on the manufacturer of our tunnel-boring machines, JAM Technology Corporation, and the general contractor of the partial operability section of the MMSP, the Shimizu Fujita Takenaka EI joint venture, to share us a few words. Let us all first welcome the president of JAM Technology Corporation, currently in Japan, Mr. Takanobu Miki.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Takanobu Miki. I'm president of JIM Technology, tunnel boring machine manufacturer. First of all, thank you very much for coming our factory today. By the way, as you know, this year is a very tough year, difficult situation is still continue all over the world, including Philippines and Japan. However, we are very honored to have the factory acceptance test of tunnel boring machine for the first subway construction project in Philippines today. And this factory acceptance test carried out by the special effort of all parties involved in this project. We would like to thank DOTR, OC Global, Japanese Embassy, JICA, and Shimizu joint venture, who have supported us always. In addition, we are very sorry for DOTR and OC Global, who are unable to attend this factory acceptance test in Japan because of COVID-19. But we would appreciate if you could watch this situation through live video, and we'd like to share this situation between Philippines and Japan. Lastly, I have to say, we wish you have wonderful time and congratulations today. Thank you very much.
And now, we are to witness how the tunnel boring machine will be operated. In 3, 2, 1. So yesterday morning, September 3, 2020, a factory acceptance test, or FAT, for the first TBM of the MMSP was conducted by DOTR's General Consultants, SFTEJV, and JIM Technology Corporation. This FAT is a process that evaluates the equipment during and after the assembly process by verifying that it is built and operating in accordance with the design specification. There were 3 major items considered during FAT for TBM. First is the dimension, considering the diameter and length, wherein the manufactured TBM should be 6.99 meters in diameter and 9.48 meters in length. Second is the straightness, measured in a 2-dimensional tolerance to ensure that TBM body is uniform across a surface. TBM body must be welded and assembled in well horizontal manner with a 22 millimeter of tolerance. Third is the cutter head rotation, designed with 43 and 80 Hz both clockwise and counterclockwise direction with a rotation speed of 1 rpm at 42 seconds and 2.6 rpm at 22 seconds respectively. In conclusion, the results show that all these three major items have passed and been accepted. And now, we are to witness. How the tunnel boring machine will be operated. In 3, 2, 1. And there you have it, everyone, the tunnel boring machine of the Metro Manila Subway project.